Well, we will continue to follow this. And this all happening after Hurricane Maria.
Right. Using the money that the federal government is giving to Puerto Rico for reconstruction to help pay a portion of this debt, undoubtedly.
Will go to the vulture funds.
Yes.
Well, to see all our coverage on Puerto Rico, you can go to democracynow.org. A belated happy birthday to Hugh Gran. Democracy Now! Is currently accepting applications for a full-time one-year paid news production fellowship. Details at democracynow.org. Democracy Now! Produced by Mike Burke, Tina Guzder, Nermeen Sheikh, Carla Wills, Tammy Warnoff, Sam Alcoff, John Hamilton, Robbie Karen, Honey Masood, Trina Durate, Marie El Studio. Special thanks to Becca Staley, Julie Crosby. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Thanks for joining us.
Farmers and being community owned. Citizens have a voice in how the co-op functions. Everyone can shop and anyone can join.
LP 103.7 Asheville.
And we're not. Here we go. Good morning. We'll try this again. You're listening to the BLAINESWORLD show, heard each Wednesday here on the new WPVM LP in Asheville, North Carolina. You can also listen online at www.wpvmfm.org, and you can watch, hopefully, on WPVM's Facebook page. And I hope we're on, but we'll see in a little bit if we are. Anyway, I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield. Each week we focus on the Asheville theater scene, as well as on positive news and information about people and organizations in the Asheville area. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce my first guest. She is Marcy Gallagher. Welcome aboard, Marcy.
Thank you, Blaine. Glad to be here.
Well, glad to have you. And Marcy is the owner-operator of Kilwin's Chocolate Fudge and Ice Cream, one of my favorite places in Asheville, North Carolina. And she's a former paralegal, lived in South Florida for 21 years. She writes, and we'll talk about this as well, personalized romance novels. And she also is a breast cancer survivor. She's just an amazing woman. And Marcy, we're going to have to talk about a couple of things you do, but the first is, since I already mentioned it, what's a personalized romance novel?
Well, it's a novel that has already been written, but it has spaces in it that couples fill out a questionnaire. And they list their name, the best friends, color of clothing, perfume, the car he drives, the airport, 21 different characteristics. And those are woven into the story. So I write the story, and then my publishers have a program where it inserts those particulars for each couple. So when you're reading the romance novel, you're reading about you and your significant other, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever.
How did you get involved in writing those?
Well, it was interesting. My now husband, he was my former boss, actually, at the law firm. He found an ad in a magazine, and it said that, they were looking for somebody to write some personalized romance material, and it was a contest. So he told me about it because he knew I liked to write, and I was like, no, I can't do that. And he said, yes, you can. So I came up with a story, and I submitted it, and I won the first place. And interestingly enough, I was living in Fort Lauderdale at the time. the first prize was a trip to the Grove Park Inn in Asheville. So
Had you been to Asheville before then?
I had been to Hendersonville a lot over the years, but never Asheville.
Oh, so that's really cool. And is that one of the things that convinced you to move to Asheville?
One of them among many, yes. The mountains, the people, the clean air, just everything.
And so then take it from there. So you entered this contest, and then after that, did you write your first book?
Well, the contest was short stories.
Right.
So they published a short story in a compilation called Celebrating Romance. And by the way, I'll give them a plug, especially for Valentine's Day. It's www.yournovel.com.
And by the way, one of the great gifts, because I've gotten two of them, we'll talk of them in a second.
Uh-huh.
But so people can then order.
Yep.
Can they get your book? Do you have is it your name or is it another name you
Well,
use?
I write under the name Marcy Thomas.
Okay.
And Thomas is my husband's first name. And my publishers write under the names Fletcher Newbern, which is their first names, or
So-
their last name, sorry.
So you've actually written more than one of these, is that correct?
Yes.
How many have you written?
5 of them. And they're on the website along with about 25 other romance novels that Fletcher Newbern has written, and they also have other contract writers.
But the one I'll mention, and again, if you're looking for one of the great Valentine's Day gifts of all time, aside from getting some fudge from Kilwins, we'll talk about that as well, but aside from that, get one of these books, great book, and you even got, I understand you even have your husband wrote one?
Yes. Well, he was my, he always liked to say he was the research assistant to a romance novelist. But he was recovering from brain surgery, and he couldn't do anything, physical. He had to really take it easy. And he took a stab at it, and he contacted our publishers, and he gave them a pitch for a book, and they said, go for it. And so his Wild West Love Fest is now among the, like I said, 25 to 30 different novels that you can get on yournovel.com. And he writes under the name Thomas Marcy.
And what I loved about it, Marcy, is that it also gave me the chance, first time with your book and then with his book, to become a hero. You can choose to become the hero in these, which is so cool.
Yes, they're a romp.
And something to look forward to. Do we have a sixth one coming from you or Tom?
Not right now. I don't rule it out for the future, but right now my focus is on Kilwins and keeping the store going, and but I don't rule it out.
Or I'm thinking down the future, we could maybe have this about an aspiring playwright. Somebody's going to write plays and get them produced, and that's an aside.
You never know.
Okay. Anyway, Marcy, so go from there so that in your spare time you became a novelist and writing these personalized romance novelists, but you're also now a very successful entrepreneur who started a business in Asheville, and we'll talk about that. And the business, of course, is Kilwins.
Mm-hmm.
But let me ask you the question. When you were growing up, you grew up in Michigan, is that correct?
Correct.
So a little 5-year-old running around in Michigan, did you always know you wanted to run an ice cream store?
I did not.
Did you like ice cream at least?
I loved ice cream.
Okay.
But it didn't even enter my mind, actually, until I guess it was about 2003, 2004. Tom and I explored the idea of going somewhere else, moving out of Fort Lauderdale, and opening a business. And at the time, my sister had owned a Kilwins for many, many years, and I would volunteer at the store. I would help her out, and I thought, gosh, this is so much fun. This isn't even like going to work. So I got breast cancer in 2004, and during my recovery, I said to Tom, okay, this is our opportunity to leave Florida. Let's go do something fun. Let's go somewhere where I believe it would be very healthy to live. And so we kind of started percolating all these ideas, and we came up with, let's go to Asheville and open a Kilwins.
We should also mention, too, though, that you do have it kind of in your background or in your genes, because your folks were business owners all their life, and talk a little bit about that.
Yes, my dad purchased my grandfather's business, my mom's dad's business in Michigan, and in Detroit, downtown Detroit actually, and they were manufacturing women's slacks. And when they finished that, they moved to Florida in the, I think, mid-70s, and they opened up a clothing store for plus-size women. And it was always funny whenever anybody asked my dad, what do you do for a living? And he would always respond, I'm in women's pants.
I can see your dad saying that.
So that was always a joke. But my dad had a store, my mom had a store.
What was your mom's store again?
There was plus-size clothing, and which was very interesting because my mom was anything but plus
I
size.
was just going to say that. How you chose plus size with your mom.
They wanted to fill a niche
Yeah.
that they saw that was lacking in retail clothing, and so they had a very successful run at it. I don't know how many years they had their stores, but they were very successful because they offered personalized service, and their mantra was, do well with the customer, offer the best customer service, and they did, and that's what helped.
Well, it's interesting because, again, that's, I think, your strength in terms of you follow a similar kind of mantra.
Yes.
And everything you're saying is just reminds me of when I go into a Kilwins, you're going to have people smiling, you're going to have fun, you're going to get good service.
Yes.
And I guess that's a tribute to your folks or something that you got from them as well. So you moved to Asheville and decided you want a neat choice to open an ice cream business, but you didn't have any experience making ice cream. Is that correct?
No, we had no experience in retail, period.
Right.
And fortunately, the Kilwins model, it's a franchise, they do a week training session in Petoskey, Michigan, which is the home base, for a week, and you learn how to make the fudge and make the caramel and dip the chocolates. And so you learn all that. The ice cream is made for us at a dairy in Ohio. So we had a lot of training, and then Kilwin sends a representative down for the first 2 weeks that your store is open, just to make sure you get all the workings of it and the business aspect and the merchandising and things like that, ordering. And then they leave, and then it's you and the store.
Now, did you feel after that period of time, did you also observe any other Kilwins? Is that part of the process?
We observed in Petoskey, but I also had, like I said, experience at my sister's store.
Right.
And so you kind of get a feel for what the system's all about, which is delivering excellent, superior products in a clean store and the very best exceptional customer service.
And I guess, so when you opened it after this, even the 3-week period, though, you were open the week one? In other words, you opened after a week's training, and then they have somebody helping you.
Right.
And you were lucky. We'll just give a shout-out to Bonnie, your sister.
Yes.
And Bonnie, we hope you're doing better and better. Bonnie's just recovering from a
Shoulder surgery.
shoulder surgery. So if you're listening, Bonnie, hey, Bonnie, and hope you're doing better. But so you then, which is pretty cool. So just after a week, you opened up your first store?
Yep.
Were you ready then?
No.
Wow.
No, I mean, it was frightening. It was frightening because we were learning the store along with all of our staff that we hired. And I'll tell you, even after 10 years, almost 11 years, I'm still learning something every day. And throughout the years, we have refreshed our store. We have come up with good ideas to make our store more efficient and more pleasing to look at, and the merchandising. So it's a constant learning experience.
And you were lucky, I guess, in the sense that, especially in the beginning, and I always would remember your dad would be coming in and making the runs to go to the bank and stuff like that.
Yes.
He was a big help in the beginning.
Oh, yes.
I guess you had Bonnie as a resource if need be.
Absolutely.
So you had some backing a little bit.
Yes.
But you mentioned, again, one of the fun things I think you do at Kilwins is you'll see different things all the time. Remember, we even participated a couple of years or tried to help out. You had Christmas window. You would always go all out to do your Christmas windows.
Yes.
And what's that all about?
Well, every year, downtown Asheville has a holiday window competition. And so they give you a theme. Every year it's a different theme. And we would just come up with these really crazy ideas to put in the window, fun ideas. We always want to make it fun and also display our products. And so we had some good times with it.
Okay, and that was just always a fun thing, and boy, you guys worked hard on that one,
We
too.
did.
Also, you know, and I think that's a tribute to you and Tom when he was involved in the business, and to you right now, too. You're big into community involvement. I know you've always been.
Oh, yes.
And let's talk about some of the things you do just in terms of giving back to the community. I know, for example, you're active in the school system. And what do you do with the school system?
Yes, we have a Kilwins Cares for Kids program. And what I do is contact the teachers, let them know about our program, and we go into the elementary schools and we deliver a 1 hour or half hour presentation on where chocolate comes from. And I have some posters of the small family farms in the growing regions where the cacao plantations are, and we take them through the process from bean to bar. And it's interesting because when I first approach the students and I say, so where do you think chocolate comes from? And they'll say something like Ingalls or CVS or,
Right.
something like that. And I say, well, we're going to take it way back from that. And the kids love it. We bring along samples of milk, white, and dark chocolate so they can taste them and taste which ones they like better. And I also had have a professional musician and clown, Ash Devine, who is local here and is an amazing singer-songwriter and humanitarian. And she would sing a couple songs with the kids, and we just had a ball. The kids love it, the teachers love it, and I just had so much fun with it.
Again, I think that's the word I'm hearing throughout the morning. It's just fun. You know?
Yes.
And just if you don't have fun with it, nobody else is going to. So you really enjoy speaking to the students?
Oh, I have so much fun because the reaction on their faces when they see the actual cacao beans, and how it's processed, and they go away with it appreciating then not only the fact that it comes in a bar when you finally purchase it or in some form like that, but they know now how it progressed to that point, and they appreciate the small family farms in the growing regions and the farmers who actually make this, grow this.
And talking about appreciation, I'd like to express my appreciation for two things, Marcy, or lots of things for Marcy Gallagher, but one of them is you also brought some chocolate and fudge for the office here, for the station. But I'm glad we didn't have to go through the whole half hour and hear it. No offense to Ash, we didn't have to go through all that. We just give me the end product, so thank you for that.
Yes.
Also, a big thank you that Marcy Gallagher and Kilwins is going to be a sponsor for the show you heard about last week, the upcoming Happy Together review. If you come to Attic Salt this Friday night or Saturday night, 7 o'clock, you'll hear not only some great music, but you'll also get some great fudge from Kilwins. Even though if you don't have tickets for Friday night, you're out of luck. It's all sold out. Few tickets still remain for Saturday, and you can get tickets at atticsalt.org. But the key is you have to have tickets, and you also get some fudge. So thank you very much for that, too.
Yeah, and there's so many other ways that we partner with the community.
For example,
We partner with Pisgah Legal Services. So it's a fantastic organization that provides legal services for those who can't afford it in various aspects of their lives. And we provide the desserts for their annual Jazz for Justice, which is coming up, I believe, in April. So we do that.
another fun event.
Yep. We were a partner with the Asheville Lyric Opera. We have certificates for a free slab of fudge and a free ice cream cone that we give out to pretty much any charitable organization, school, group that requests something, a donation from Kilwins. So
Very sweet.
yeah, thank you.
No,
Sweet.
it is sweet, too. I didn't think of it, but yeah, it is.
Yeah, so we've literally given to hundreds of organizations. We also partner with the Asheville Tourists, and we do a on-site we have a table at one of their games where we provide some products and things like that. And So really, we're all over in the community with the arts, with the sports teams, with schools, with other organizations, charitable organizations, the Humane Society. There's just a huge list of organizations that we support.
Being an owner-operator, Marcy, of a Kilwins, what's the best part of it? What do you like best about your job?
There's actually two bests, actually many bests, but one of the bests is working with my staff. I have a just wonderful, wonderful group of young people that I work with, and one of our girls, Emma, has been with us since before we opened. She helped actually merchandise the store. So we're going on 11 years, and she's still there. And she's awesome. And I've got several other staff members who have been with us for many, many years. And we're like a family. And I support my staff, they support me, and we also do fun things, like we've gone bowling before, we've gone to the movies together, we did an escape room together. And so, just like a family would, we do outings, and we're just very supportive of each other.
Now, that must have also been a challenge for you, too, because when you first started running a Kilwins, you had no not only retail experience, but you didn't have managerial experience. So all of a sudden, now you're becoming a manager or an owner-operator of a franchise.
Yes.
That must have been a challenge as well.
Yes, you wear many hats. And so, it is. It's been that's why I say I'm always learning. I'm only 10, almost 11 years into the business, but I'm always learning something. And the managerial aspect of staffing has been interesting, but very rewarding, because I get a lot of high school students, and sometimes they'll come in and they'll interview and they'll be kind of shy, but I see something in them. And so I'll hire them, and by the end of the summer, their parents are coming in and saying, I don't know what you did to my child, but she or he is now outgoing and can talk to anybody and has a lot more confidence. So, and then they come back year after year, and that is very, very rewarding for me.
And I've seen it, too, with some of your employees, just the transformation. It's just amazing. Somebody will be, like you said, very quiet, very shy, unassuming, and all of a sudden, and it's so cool to come into a Kilwins. And what's the flavor of ice cream? I always love it. I ask them, there's one flavor you have to ask for because they have a response to it.
Yes, it's Kilwins or Asheville Mud.
So I'll put you on the spot. So if I come into a Kilwins, again, not all employees do it as well as some of your employees. If I ask for what is it?
Asheville Mud or Kilwins
Asheville
Mud.
Mud. And if I ask you, Marcy, what's in that? And can you tell me what's in it?
Yes, it's a velvety vanilla ice cream with swirls of caramel and an explosion of chocolate chips.
Okay, and some of the employees just go crazy with
Yes.
explosion of some are more outgoing than others. Another question, Marcy, I always wonder, and I think I've asked you this too, but one of the nice things you go into Kilwins, you get samples,
Yes.
and you come into the store, it's very sweet, if you will, but you get some fudge, and you can always get a sample of fudge.
Yes.
So you should come into the store hungry, and so beginning of the store you get fudge, and you go in the back, you get samples of ice cream.
Yes.
What's the record number of samples that anybody's ever asked you for?
Well, too many.
I was going to say.
Usually, especially if it's busy, we have to hold them to 2 in ice cream.
Have you ever had to cut anybody off?
Yes.
Has anybody?
Because when there's a line and somebody's saying, well, I want to try this, and I want to try that, and I want to try that, and it really kind of interrupts the flow. So what we'll do is we'll kindly say, if you want to try more samples, if I can help this other customer first while you kind of look around. So, we don't necessarily cut them off, but we do try and get the line through as quickly as possible so people can start enjoying their ice cream.
Great line, but sometimes, guess though, there are very rare people who abuse the system.
Yes.
And I think you told me this also, which is needs to be considered, that not every customer is the perfect customer too.
Right.
In other words, you have some great customers.
Oh, yes.
I guess the great customers. You have some regulars come in.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we have definitely regular customers.
Like come in frequently.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, for any number of things. We have a gentleman who likes our streakers. We have a gentleman who comes in for quarts of ice cream. And some people who work at the courthouse, the federal courthouse down the street from us, they come in for their afternoon snack. And so, yeah, it's wonderful.
Do you have anybody who comes in and asks, what is the same thing every day?
Oh, yes.
Because just an aside, years ago, we'll call it BK before Kilwins, when I was in New Jersey, I would go into a place all the time and ask for the same thing all the time, vanilla yogurt with Reese's peanut butter cups. And the server once said to me, well, you come in all the time, don't you get tired of ordering the same thing? Remember I asked her, did she have a boyfriend? She said yes. And I said,
Retire from them.
exactly, So there are other people like me just get the same thing all the time.
Oh,
coming-
yeah,
coming
absolutely,
every day.
absolutely. And a lot of them, it's interesting, they'll say, I should try something else. And they'll try a sample of a different flavor. And then they'll say, you know what, I'm just going to go back to my good old toasted coconut.
Okay, one of my favorites.
And I'll say, go with what you know,
Yeah.
It's
And you're getting me hungry just talking
Yes.
about it. I wish I had some toasted coconut right now. We talked about the good things about owning a Kilwins. Is there any what's the toughest part of your job?
The toughest part, I think, is adjusting to the weather. And that's not something that we hadn't considered when we were opening the Kilwins, how much weather has an impact on business. And of course, you would, naturally, if it's pouring down rain and it's cold out, not many people are going to be walking around downtown. But it's just not something you think about when you're opening a business. It's almost like, oh, every day is going to be sunny and beautiful.
Well, almost you were spoiled by the fact that you worked with Bonnie in Florida. Bonnie had the store in Florida, and almost every day was a great day or a good day at least.
Yes.
Here, most days are nice, but some days, like this, we pray for this kind of weather, or
Yes.
for a couple of days like this. There's an uptick in business too when it's good.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We had a good weekend last weekend because it was beautiful out. Winters are tough, but we plan for it, and we use the winter as an opportunity to clean the store from one end to the other. So we keep the staff busy.
And one of the things, again, I've been very impressed with is that, to your credit, you'll try to keep the staff employed. If they have, you were telling me this off the air one time, if you schedule them, you'll keep them employed
Oh,
if
yeah.
possible?
We keep all full-time staff employed through the winter.
But
And
even
it's-
nice if somebody has hours, though. If they're willing to come in, you'll let them keep the hours?
Yes,
Yeah, which is very nice, because a lot of places, especially when they don't need them, just send them home or something, and that's...
yeah, but I reduce the hours in the winter
Sure.
just because we have to be able to make it through the winter. But they definitely have enough hours to make it, and my employees are so valuable that I do want to keep them through the winter. I do want to keep them year-round, and, I treat them well, and they treat me well.
Let me put you on the spot, Marcia, with one other thing that I think some listeners might be wondering, but that I think people forget the fact that you're a local businesswoman and you run a local business.
Yes.
And some people, and I think it's kind of wrong, have the attitude that, well, hey, because you're a franchise in downtown Nashville, you're not part of the downtown Nashville scene. How do you respond to that?
Well, I respond to that by saying I'm as local as they come. I live here, I work here, I pay taxes here, I hire local staffing, I buy products locally to the extent I can, and again, I'm part of the local community by supporting the local community in many, many different ways. And a franchise is different than a corporation, and a lot of times I have to kind of explain that to people. The Kilwins model is to have owner-operators. In other words, somebody who opens a store and will work that store. So since 2008, I have been in that store at least 4 to 5 days a week. In the beginning, it was 7 days a week.
And
So-
it's not only in the store, knowing you, it's a 24/7 kind of thing.
It
that
is.
Even when the rare times you get away, you're still available, and you're getting, I don't know how many, 2, 3, 5 calls every day.
Yes, yes. And I want to be the face of Asheville Kilwins. So I'm out there, I'm handing you samples of fudge. I'm getting you some chocolate dip treats. I'm scooping your ice cream. So I'm involved in every aspect of the store. And you were asking what's the best part, the other best part is connecting with customers, whether they be local customers or tourists. So we have our, 1-minute relationship with the customer who's just in for ice cream and gone, or we have our long-term relationships with our local patrons. So connecting with customers from literally all over the world is a huge joy.
One of the things I'm grateful for, just at that point, I'm getting a chill talking about it, but that's how we became your friends. You know,
Yes.
that we went into a Kilwins and we became lifelong friends, even though it's
Absolutely.
11 years. But that's an amazing story when you think about it. Marcy, if any of our listeners want to get more information about Kilwins, I guess there are two ways. One, they should come and visit you at
Yes.
some point in time. And you're located where?
26 Battery Park Avenue in downtown Asheville. We're a half a block from the Wall Street parking garage and in between Page and Haywood.
And the great thing about that location is that they come into Wall Street parking garage. They're in and out within an hour, so they get free parking
Yes.
if they come
Yes.
in and out. And also, you also are on Facebook. You have a
Yes.
Facebook page.
Yes.
You also have a website,
It's a web page,
webpage.
and it's kilwins.com/Asheville.
Okay, and so
Or forward slash, I guess it is.
slash, I just
Yeah.
say it. slash. Okay, and I encourage people, if you want to have a good time, some great ice cream, some great fudge, and I'm getting hungry talking about this.
Caramel apples, caramel corn, peanut brittle. We make most of it in the store.
And again, one last thing, and I'll let you go. But not only do they make it in the store, but one of the fun things to do is watch them make it. You know,
Yes.
because you come into the store, through the window, you can see it, and all the time they're making something, it seems like.
Yes.
And that's just a really cool thing to watch.
It is.
So anyway, Marcy, I'd like to thank you for being my guest this first half hour on the Blaine's World Show.
Well, thank you. It's been a fun time.
Okay, and thank you for sponsoring Happy Together Review, and we'll
Sure.
look forward to seeing you when you get back from Florida.
All right, great.
Okay, Marcy, thanks again.
Take care.
Okay, as
Thanks.
Marcy works her way out, we'll just make a couple of announcements about upcoming events. The one I just mentioned to you is going to be the Happy Together Review, and that's going to be at Attic Salt Theater this coming Friday and Saturday. And the Friday show has been sold out, but you won't want to miss this spectacular show on Saturday night starring Ellen Pappas, Cal Dermott, Ryan Garcia, Jay Ponton, Jessica Johnson, and Richard Schulman. For information, you can go to www.atticsalt.org. In addition, there's also something being sponsored by the Asheville-Buncombe County Christian Ministry. It's having its second Safe and Warm campaign now through March 2nd. With the help of sponsors, local sponsors, the campaign raises funds for heating assistance and collects blankets for needy families and the homeless in Buncombe County. You can donate or find out more at www.abccm.org/events/2018, I guess /19 as well. And it's a really good cause if you can help out. It's now my pleasure to introduce my second guest, and I have to make a brief announcement that she really helped me out because our first guest, unfortunately, can't be here today, Jen Worthen, and she'll be scheduled for another show. But due to illness, I was really lucky to have Laura Boswell as it step in. And Laura Boswell, first of all, welcome aboard, Laura.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Great. And I'd like to just, Laura has kind of an amazing background, if I can find it here. But Laura Boswell has, I love how you describe this, as poetic and technical depth that has gotten comparisons to the likes of Regina Spektor, Fiona Apple, Nick Drake, and Annie DeFranco. Her songs are honest and intimate, full of vulnerability and profundity. From the minimalist style, and this got me when I started Philip Glass. Anybody who's a Philip Glass fan, and you're a Philip Glass fan? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I had to have you on board. To the roots of Americana style of Iron and Wine, Laura's influences span across many genres. Laura has a Bachelor of Music and Classical Guitar performance from Guilford College in Greensboro, North Carolina, where she also studied classical piano. In 2013, she studied with Los Angeles Guitar Quartet members. We won't mention their names, but she released her second album, Fall Away, at the end of 2017. And Laura, the question I'm always interested in when I speak to musicians is that when you were a little girl and you grew up in Pennsylvania, is that correct? Okay, you want to pull the mic a little bit closer, that'd be great. When you were a little 5-year-old girl, did you always knew you wanted to be a musician?
I wouldn't say when I was 5. I started playing music when I was 6. I luckily had parents that were music enthusiasts and partially musicians themselves, and they kind of made my brother and I start learning an instrument. We got to choose which one, but so
What did your brother choose?
we both chose piano.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Well, he chose piano, and who knows if I was just copying him. But I chose piano, and I started taking classical lessons. And I liked it, but it wasn't something I would say that was my passion, you know, from a very young age. It was just something that I did, and I was doing well at it. But I don't think that I made music my own until I started writing songs and playing guitar, which was later, around when I was 12, 13.
So you took up the guitar sometime along that path? When did you take up guitar? About it?
When I was 12.
Oh, just the first time you started playing guitar? Because I guess guitar was easier to carry around than the piano. Was that it?
Yeah.
But I guess there are songwriters who do this stuff on the piano. But so you started singing and then songwriting. What was your first song? Do you remember?
I don't really. I remember the first full song that I wrote and recorded that is one that I would actually like still play today. That isn't totally embarrassing. I remember writing when I was 13, 14, and they were just kind of terribly like brooding, sad, I don't know, angsty love songs of, you know, a 13, 14-year-old, which...
I once had an idea that everybody should, you know, singer-songwriters, performers as well, should get together for a gig or a concert and play their first song, you know, or
That's a good idea.
Black Horse, White Mountain. You know, everybody comes their very first song. That'd really be cool. And I may put you on the spot. You actually, so you remember the first that you started performing. Do you remember your first performance?
Yeah. Well, I had many recitals when I was taking piano lessons, and when I started taking guitar lessons. But my first performance, where I actually sang and played my own songs, was at the boarding school that I went to, that I mentioned to you, George School. A girl that I knew, I wasn't even really close friends with her. She knew that I played music because I was very private about my music. I always like played in my room and never really shared my songs with anybody because I was just very shy. And everybody in the dorm knew that I played, and they kind of got me out of my comfort zone. And one of the girls signed me up for this event called Jamnesty, which was it was a benefit for Amnesty International, and it was a concert. And she signed me up, and she was like, "You're doing this, whether you like it or not." And yeah, I was terrified, but it ended up being wonderful because people responded really positively to my music, and I had never played my songs out in public on a stage, and I got a really great reception, and that was kind of the beginning of
Now the question
performing.
is, did they make a video of that?
You know, I think there's an audio recording of it.
Okay.
I think so.
Because that would be so cool, you know, if you had the first video you ever had of your performing. So that was in George School back when, and so that's sort of got you into your performing thing?
Definitely. That was kind of a light bulb moment, realizing that people liked my music. This is something that I could do. I don't know if I was necessarily thinking about it as a career or something like that, but it definitely gave me motivation to continue writing and performing.
You know, and you think back to it, I'm so grateful you had a positive response, you know. So can you imagine if you had a negative response? That would have been the whole career. But you started doing that. Then you went on to study music in college. Is that correct?
I did, unexpectedly. I set out intentionally when I started college to not get a music degree. Music's something that I know will always be something that's part of me, but I remember as a freshman deciding not to study music, but after the end of my freshman year, I had switched majors a bunch of times and really wasn't happy, and I remember going out to visit my brother at his college, and he studied classical piano and got a degree in composition, and I just realized that I needed to go back into music, so...
What was your first major? Do you remember?
I think I started out as international studies and French.
Okay. So I guess international studies lost is music's gain. You know, the whole life would have been. You know, I always find that a fascinating concept. How some things in life, you know, can make a whole different. You know, if you just go one direction, would have life have gone one direction. Do you sing, by the way, in French at all? Do you sing any French songs?
I have in the past. I haven't in a long time, but that's a good idea. I should learn some more songs in French because I love the language.
Me too, and it's just I love French music. And I'll put you on the spot now. I'm not going to ask you to sing a French song, but you were very gracious to say you'd be willing to do some songs off your CDs or other stuff you've put out. Do you have a first song you can play for us?
Of course.
And what would that be?
It's called The Desert.
Okay, and you wrote this song?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'll let you get your setup as I was digging up her trusty guitar there. By the way, I also ask, you have a good, are you playing this on your guitar or your, okay. Do you have a name for the guitar?
I don't have a name
Yeah.
for the guitar. I've never really, I don't know, I've never really named my instruments.
Because some people tell me, some musicians tell me, you know, get a guitar and they have a name for it, but this is the unnamed guitar, song by Laura Boswell. Take it away.
That doesn't sound very good.
Well, no,
The unnamed guitar.
Well, now you have a challenge. You come up with a name. Okay.
Should I?
Yeah, that'll be
Is it
great.
okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds. I'll tell you for that, but that sounds really good.
Let's see. Always cared to have for glory. It would creep into my bed while I slept, and it kept me living life for its stories. I figure that's why I never met you. Oh, the while it rolls on without me, I won't forget the signs I drove past. And the desert is littered with musings. Oh, how long will I last? And he takes every day by storm. Oh, he leaves nothing in his past. And I could say I had been warned, but reason will always finish last in the face of love. And I can't help myself believe why I'm here, but I won't be ignored, and I won't let my fears reach me. Still wonder how each lover meets. Guess time turns its back, turns the other cheek. Thank you.
Thank you. Question. How many songs have you written, ballpark?
I don't even think I know ballpark. Maybe at least 100.
Yeah. And do you know all the 100 songs?
I would have to refresh myself. But yeah, there are songs that I've written that I've completely forgotten about. Yeah, I'm trying to get a little bit more acquainted with the recording process so that I can kind of just record as I write, so the songs don't go left unplayed and forgotten. So I can just record them. And
Because I'm always amazed by not only singers, but also songwriters. You know, you write stuff. Now, when you perform, you play most of your stuff?
I do, but I definitely sprinkle in covers. Yeah, I like playing covers as well, and people respond well
So
to songs that they know.
So talk about the writing process. How long does it take you to write a song? Or what do you do when you start writing a song?
I mean, it definitely varies, but for me, I generally only write if I'm feeling very inspired, which generally comes from some emotional event, or traveling definitely kind of gets the creative juices flowing. And I generally don't write lyrics or instrumental bits by themselves. I generally will play and sing together until the song is finished.
How long does it take you to write a song?
Anywhere from can happen in 30 minutes sometimes to a couple hours.
I mean, that must be cool when all of a sudden an idea hits you and just start doing it in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It knocks it out right away. I guess, do you sometimes write a song and then come back to it a month later, a year later, and revise it or change it around a little bit? You ever do that?
Yeah, I mean, I generally won't revise finished songs because I'll kind of take the time that they need to really get them where I want them to be. But there are certainly ideas that I don't finish and then I come back to months later, or I have many ideas where I haven't fleshed them out into full songs that I'm kind of going through right now and want to fill them out and finish them, that are years old.
So sometimes you might have a whole bunch of ideas floating around simultaneously, as to writing to a song to come up. You're not writing one song at a time, is what I hear you saying.
No, I'll write one song at a time. I'm just talking about there are many songs that I've started to write and haven't finished that
Okay.
I still have kind of floating around, and I would like to finish them. But yeah, if I'm working on one song, generally I won't branch off. And
Do you write every day?
no,
Okay.
I don't. And not at this point in my life. There have been times when I write every day, but
Because I know that's one strategy that some people say, you have to be very disciplined. You have to get up, just regular writers. You have to get up and write every day. But I imagine that'd be tough, if you're not in the mood or don't want to write one particular day.
well, yeah, life gets in the way. I've been struggling with, general life. I've been struggling with some chronic health stuff, and it's been hard to find a job, honestly, since I've gotten here. So life gets in the way of the creative process, certainly. So it kind of ebbs and flows throughout my life.
And as you say, that's one of the tough things about Asheville. Asheville is great as long as you don't need a full-time job.
Uh-huh.
If you need a full-time job, it's a whole different thing. But talk a little bit about something you said also in terms of covers. Who are your favorite artists that you cover?
Well, I love Nick Drake. I don't know if you
Not
know
too-
him. He was active in the 1970s. He was a British singer-songwriter, passed a little too soon in his 20s. But you should definitely check him out, Nick Drake. He's a big one. I love Norah Jones. Her music has influenced me a lot, and I like playing her. Of course, I love the Beatles.
And I can see a little Norah Jones in you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's a nice compliment. The Beatles, definitely. I love Jimi Hendrix, actually. He was kind of a big influence for me when I was getting started with guitar. And I love Radiohead. I really like the Wood Brothers. I've been learning a lot of Neil Young songs. Crosby, Stills, Nash.
I'll give you one you may not know. Like you shared Nick Drake, Phil Oakes. Do you know Phil Oakes?
Mm-mm.
I'll tell you about him off the air. But
Okay.
just a '70s same kind of thing. A '70s folk rock protest singer, really good.
Cool.
But what's kind of neat is you're covering people that, aside from the Beatles, that people don't necessarily know or aren't familiar with. But you'll find some artists that's really cool. And you shared one with me. I'll look up Nick Drake. I have it down. Talk also about your performing, that you've performed, you've only been in this area a short while, but you've performed in a lot of different places. Can you talk about some of the places you performed at?
In Asheville?
Yeah, this area.
Yeah, so I was lucky to participate in the Brown Bag songwriting competition, and I was in the finals for that. And we got to play on the stage at Asheville Music Hall.
That must have been fun, wasn't it?
It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun. And I have had the opportunity to play at the Biltmore Estate. I played some classical music there for their Christmas holiday season, and that was really cool because I got to play, and then you alternate with another musician for their like candlelight service. And so when I wasn't playing, I got to tour the mansion. So that was really neat. And I've definitely been getting around in the open mic scene, and I got to play at ISIS about 2 weeks ago with Heather Taylor in the lounge upstairs, and that was really great.
And you're on Facebook Live today, so there's another performance too.
Sure.
And since you're on Facebook Live, one of the great things we could do is get performers to play a song or two. So I'm going to put you on the spot and ask for a second song. And you have a second one in mind?
Yeah.
And what's that?
I would like to play a song called Loss that I wrote after my grandfather passed. I will have to tune my guitar
Sure.
to a
Okay,
different...
go ahead. Well, as you're doing, I'll kind of
Okay.
make faces or talk as well. But Laura's just getting ready for her second song, Loss. And that's just kind of, I don't know if Laura's done it, but what a tribute to somebody, that you wrote a song in their honor. And this is after he passed. Very, very sweet. As Laura's doing that, I'll also mention some of the ways you can find out about Laura Boswell. And she has a website, which you'll find a lot of good stuff at www.lauraboswellmusic.com. She also has a Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/Laura Boswell Music. And so if you want to find out about Laura Boswell, you can check those two places. You can also check, she has a whole bunch of YouTube videos. You can just look up her name under Laura Boswell. And it sounds like Laura's tuning this. And are you just about ready for this?
Almost.
Okay, she's just about ready. And
take a sip of water.
okay, I should take a sip of water. And again, I've heard several videos. You're going to hear a second one today, Loss. And again, that's also, that one is on YouTube, also a video on Prepared, Counting Eyes. Just look up Laura Boswell. You'll find her on YouTube. And you're also
Yeah, I
going...
got it. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to mention the music video for this song is neat because we filmed it in Maui.
Okay, and that's why I loved it when you showed it to me. It's really well done, the visuals of it. And so you get to hear Laura sing it in person here, or almost in person, but then definitely check out the video. And are you ready? Right, I think she's ready. So this is
I believe
Lost,
so.
Lost from Laura Boswell. Take it away.
I am far away from those I love, but my heart swells with all your light. Oh, the loss of life. again. And every single word you had said, I love you. How your music fills the room. Oh, I love you. And I will always play for you. When I was young, I could not know someone. When I was young, I could not know. I'm so glad to have known you. Won't you take me into your arms tonight? I need someone to hold on to me tightly. Won't you hold me close? So we can feel this together. Won't you hold me close so we can feel this together? Nothing is ever gone. No one has ever left.
Very sweet.
Thank you.
The quite a song to sing for somebody. The how old were you when your grandfather passed?
It was like 3 years ago, so I was 26.
So did any members of the family hear that song?
Yeah, I shared it with everyone.
Is your grandmother still alive?
No, she passed when I was young.
Oh, what a beautiful song! Did your grandfather ever hear you perform?
Yeah, he was actually a big supporter and influence for me. He really supported my journey with classical guitar and with music.
Oh, and I got to hear you play too.
Yeah,
Oh.
many times. I would go. I went to college in Greensboro, and he lived in Chapel Hill. So I would go and visit him on some weekends and play for him.
Oh, is that so? He was a good audience for it. Just listen to it. It's it's very.
Yeah, he was a big music appreciator, and he was a singer.
Was he too? Did you ever sing with him?
We didn't. I wish that we had, but
Can you imagine? That would have been a cool thing. You ever perform with your brother?
a little. We need to. He's an amazing composer, and we have kind of different styles, but we definitely need to do more of that in the future.
Because that'd be an interesting combination, like a little Carpenter's thing, or the two of you perform. What's your future plans in terms of both performing and writing songs? Do you have any future things on the agenda?
Yeah. Well, I'm always interested in recording. I'm writing a lot. I have a lot of songs. I love the recording process. I want to learn more myself about recording and about. I'm actually interested in kind of getting a little bit more into electronic music and kind of fusing that with my style. I'm also taking this online course right now on sync licensing, like licensing your music to be used in film and advertising. So I'm kind of I'm just kind of opening myself up to a lot of different options musically and kind of seeing where it takes me. I love performing. So yeah, I think I'm just trying to move forward in all aspects that I can with music. I'm interested in playing more at like festivals in the spring, summer, and fall time. And
So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, either for performing or want to get you to write a song, best bet is how to reach you.
Laura Boswell Music at gmail.com.
Okay, and again, also encourage you to check out your YouTube videos. Also check out your Facebook page as well.
I'm on Spotify and iTunes as well.
And I'd like to thank you, Laura Boswell, for coming to be my second guest this Blaine's World show. Also my first guest, Marcy Gallagher. Also to Amy Prisnosh, my producer, and to Zuzu Welch, who provided the music you heard at the beginning of the show. You'll now be hearing at the end. I look forward to having you join me next Wednesday here at new WPVM and LP in Asheville, North Carolina. You can also listen online and watch on WPVM's Facebook page. Thanks for listening.